Okay, so in this video, we're going to just go over really quick how to do the lens assessment. So for this, you need to make sure that you have the, as always, child ID sheet. You need headphones that have a headphone adapter because we are using the last thing that you'll need is the new iPad. So these are the 13-inch iPads, the new ones. So you need to make sure, because they don't have a headphone port, you need to make sure that the headphones you're given have the adapter on them. So what you're going to do to open the assessment, you need to go to the Notes app on the iPad. And in the Notes app, you will see the only note in there is a link. And if you click on that, it will take you to the link to sign into your assessor account. And you want to make sure every iPad is set to Chrome to be the default browser, but you want to triple check that you're in Chrome when doing this assessment. You will put in your ECU email and your password was given to you, and it's also in our Feed Lab data collector Google Drive. In the Excel sheet, you will see your email and you will see your lens given password. Make sure that you either have that password memorized or you have it with you before going to the centers. So you're going to put in your name and your password, hit login, and then you are going to pick which school you're in. So you're going to get to a screen that looks like this. So you're going to have to select the assessment, whether English or Spanish. Most of the time it's going to be English. I will mark on your child ID sheet if there is a child that will be done in Spanish. But if you're not a Spanish speaker, so if you're not me or Erica, you will be doing it in English. So then you click the school. So for schools, so I'm going to hit English and then I'm going to go to schools. Sometimes when you click this, it says no options. That means that the computer system is just lagging. So you just need to click this a couple times for it to populate. And then it'll populate the school. So sometimes you just have to keep tapping it and it'll wake up the system. And so let's say I'm assessing someone in Greenville. So I select Greenville. Then it's going to ask you to select the room number. So you select what room number you're in, and then it'll ask you to select the student, and then you'll pick exactly which child. Once you've picked which child you're going to do, I'll cover their name up. Hold on. Once you've clicked on the appropriate child, then you're going to have two options. That first box says run readiness, and that's what you're going to start with. You always have to run the readiness first, and that's basically teaching the child how to play the game. So you'll hit run readiness, and then the system will basically take off on its own. It'll start showing the video of the little boy Ben and teaching the child how to do the assessment. And so your job as the data collector is just to be there to facilitate. If the child is having trouble paying attention, you can kind of alert them and say, hey, let's pay attention to our game, and just really be there as a facilitator. If a child is not responding to the program, you'll see a green balloon pop up and across the whole screen, and that sort of alerts you that the child needs a reminder. After the second balloon pops up, then you give child very specific instructions. So after the first balloon, you might say something like, make sure you're paying attention. After the second balloon pops up, you might say something like, make sure you're touching the image inside the black box. And then after the third balloon shows up, that's when we would stop the readiness and we would let them try it again another day. So all of that can be noted on your child ID sheet. Now, once they get to the end of the readiness assessment, a check mark will appear and it'll take you back to that home page. The child ID paper for the lens assessment looks different. Instead of having one sign-off column, there's actually two sign-off columns, one that says readiness and one that says adaptive. So once they've passed the readiness, that's when you would sign, that's when you would put your initials and the date in the readiness column. But they have a second thing to do, because after the readiness, they have to do the actual assessment, which is the adaptive. And that's when you would go back to that home screen. After they finish the readiness, it'll take you back to the home screen, their home screen. And then you would click the bottom orange box, which says run adaptive. And that's when they would do the actual assessment. Same thing as the readiness. You're really there just as a facilitator and to help them pay attention, keep them motivated as they move throughout the assessment. You have your protocol on the lens assessment if you want to go in and refresh yourself on the different types of questions that they may ask as you progress throughout. And as a reminder, as of right now, children may get different numbers of questions. So one child may get 15, while another may get 25. So you can't exactly tell children, you only have 5 left, but you can continue to motivate them as they move throughout it and treat it as if it was a game. When they finished the adaptive, same thing, the screen will turn blank and a green check mark that says great job will come up. And then you know that you can sign off on that adaptive column on their sheet. If you are running close, let's say it's 11:10. If it's 11:10 and you know lunch is coming at 11:30, I would not start an adaptive assessment. At that point, you would just do a readiness because the readiness is standard. It only takes about 10 minutes. So you know you'd have enough time for a child to finish the readiness. You can sign off on their readiness, and then the next day when we come back, we can start them on their adaptive. So I would not start an adaptive if you only have 10 minutes left before you know they're going out to recess or a bathroom break or lunch is coming. So you have to use kind of your discretion on timing there. I think that's everything for the lens assessment.